made this one.
Short off the beat.
You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production.
In the mix.
With the commish, Nate.
Let's get over here to the right. There we go. Now we're on the right scene. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. I have been dying to make some Madden content. I am so ready for Madden 23 to drop. it is time that we start playing some Madden again, start talking some OMFL. There's a lot of things to put a bow on tonight, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the end of the cycle awards that we handed out. We're going to talk about your OMFL Hall of Fame members that were nominated and that have been awarded their gold jackets here in the OMFL. And then finally, we're going to talk about Madden 23 updates. What's up, Kev? It's good to see you, buddy. Been missing you lately, Kev. I heard you've been tired and running the roads and doing all kinds of stuff. So we haven't seen you on the shooters, and I've been missing you. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Super pumped. I'm ready to get into it. So without any further ado, let's jump over here. We're going to turn on the right thing though, because of course you can't see anything right now. We're going to turn on the right one, and I guess we're going to start letting the cat out the bag right away. And well, it was a tough voting year. So there was this real debate with inside the guys who got to vote for the OMFL Hall of Fame. So if you're brand new and you've never checked out the OMFL Hall of Fame are Madden generated players who have left their mark, their fingerprint on the OMFL. Every single cycle, we allow one owner to pick a player, actually every owner to pick one player that they can take with them into the next Madden. So we completely remake them. We copy their contract, their age, their stats, everything across the board, and that player can continue their career in the OMFL. And usually those players, after the end of their second cycle, have now played in the OMFL from 7 to 10 different seasons. They've got a plethora of stats to kind of pick from and choose from, and we're able to see right away who the Hall of Fame players are. And so those players go into our OMFL Hall of Fame. They have to receive all but one. They can only miss one no vote to get into the OMFL Hall of Fame. And we've got a list of about 7 or 8 different players from a variety of different positions. And this year, we had a wide receiver from the Saints, we had a linebacker from the Saints, but both of those players only played in the OMFL this past Madden. And that was the big debate with inside the board. How many seasons does it take to be a Hall of Famer? And it looks like kind of the end discussion, kind of the deciding factor. We're going to get all the words together. I promise. Just hang in there with me. We're going to get all of them together. The deciding factor was that ultimately they needed to play in the OMFL for more than one cycle to be a true Hall of Fame member. And though they have great seasons and they put up really great stats in a short period, they need to have that longevity. And 3 of the 4 players that were nominated were only players in the OMFL for Madden 22. The Jets tight end Ridley, the Saints wide receiver, the Saints outside linebacker Dakota McMillan. I'm skipping on my wide receiver's name all of a sudden tonight. And then finally, cornerback Doug Glenn. Cornerback Doug Glenn put up some amazing stats. These are just his stats for the season, or for Madden 22. He is your only OMFL Hall of Famer for this Madden cycle. 6'4". He was drafted in the first round several Maddens, or one Madden ago, I think several seasons ago. I think it was, we played 5 seasons this past Madden. I think we played 5 the Madden before, and I think he was here 3 of those seasons. He was a Pro Bowler almost every single year, dominated from start to finish. You can see his tackles here, his interceptions. He was one of the leading playmakers, even changing positions this past Madden from safety over to cornerback, where he made even a greater impact. This guy had speed, he had size, he had thumping ability, he had everything that you could ever ask for. He probably could have played linebacker in the OMFL, probably could have played tight end in the OMFL, probably could have played wide receiver in the OMFL. This guy was one of the most talented players that we have ever seen, and still only a 91 overall. But when you played the Detroit Lions, when you played against Trey, you had to know where Doug Glenn was lining up at all times. I remember very specifically playing a game against him in the Superdome. I was driving late in that game, trying to tie the game, had a slant wide open, and out of nowhere, Doug Glenn comes from across the screen, leaps over a player, picks it off with one hand, and takes it back 25 yards to kind of seal the game. Doug Glenn was an absolute stud, a force to be reckoned with. One of these players, you just had to know where he was at all times, and he is your only OMFL Hall of Fame player for Madden 22. I keep skipping on the numbers because I'm already like moved on to Madden 23, but he is your OMFL Hall of Famers. So props to Trey for an OMFL Hall of Famer. It's going to have a graphic made, but I'm waiting on some graphics from Trey. As soon as Trey gets me one more photo, I lie, he got me the photo late tonight. So we'll have a graphic up for the newest Hall of Fame member, and that's going to be a Trey. And then we also welcomed in, we've already kind of announced this one, but we welcomed in 2 Hall of Fame members to our OMFL Coaches Hall of Fame. Looks like my internet is giving me a little bit of a hard time tonight. So we'll see. Hopefully it cleans this stuff up. Sorry about this, friends. The internet and electricity and everything went out yesterday. We had a bad thunderstorm come through and some bad wind, and it knocked out electricity, internet, TV, everything for like 6 hours. And ever since then, it's been a little wonky, it's been a little funky. So hopefully they get things figured out and this thing holds in tight. But we welcomed in 2 Coach Hall of Famers, and these are coaches that just represent what the OMFL is all about, what Grown Folks is all about. This opportunity to just throw yourself in, to make content, to be above reproof when it comes to your gameplay, to your scheduling, to really represent the OMFL in every way that you possibly could. And that was Coach Jason, who sadly is no longer with him, but we wish him nothing but the best of luck in his next Madden League. And then also Coach Roger. Coach Rogers just left his fingerprint on this league forever. Both of these men are leaders and just good men, and you're a better league, a better community for men like that. And that's what I think makes the OMFL such a special place. I talked about it in the fundraising video that I made. If you haven't watched that, go check that out. Doing a fundraiser right now just to kind of gather some funds, do some giveaways. I got lots of things planned, and the response early has been great, but then it's kind of taken a nap the last 24 hours. So help us out in any kind of amount that you possibly can. But what I mentioned in that video was that it takes really good men to make this place special. And the OMFL has always just been blessed with some really good men. And it has been an honor to lead alongside people like Roger. And he is a welcome member along with Jason into the Coaches Hall of Fame here in the OMFL. Then we had two other awards. I kind of argued with myself, but we had 2 other awards. We had Most Improved for the entire Madden Cycle 22. I had a stroke there. That's okay. I'm back. I'll take a baby aspirin a little bit later. All of Madden 22, the Most Improved Coach, and that is a clean sweep for Coach Denbrew. Coach Denbrew, your champion, season 101 Cincinnati Bengals. He had a clean sweep over all of the coaching awards this offseason, and he sweeps up in also the end of the cycle awards as he takes home the Most Improved Player. And then we had our Sportsman of the Year vote, the Sportsman of the Cycle for Madden 22. And that one was a tie, and it's going to go to Coach Roger and Coach Lost Sniper. We only had about 12 votes, so that was by far the lowest one that we got turnout for. But I think people are like totally like, look, I need a break. I'm plugging into my break. Sorry, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. So anyway, Lost Sniper, Roger, 2 really amazing human beings. Lost gave us an amazing large donation. Roger also has started his donation, and just like so thankful for these kinds of men. I wish we had some women too, but all we got is men right now that would just come into this league, jump into leadership, and help make the OMFL what it is. And so those are your end of the season, end of the cycle award winners and your Hall of Fame members here in the OMFL. Now we get to talk about some Madden 22. So let's get over here and see if we can get some Madden 23 news up and running here. Madden 23, they dropped lots of news this past week. You've already probably seen a ton of videos out there about all of the news that has started to drop about it. I'm excited. There's some really fun stuff. I got to play the beta, and we talked about a lot of this stuff on those live streams as I was able to not show any video, but I was able to live stream and just take questions and kind of talk through a lot of the stuff that we were watching. Make sure you go check this out. This is going to be on Madden 23's, what do they call them? Their notes, I think. Let's see. The Gridiron Notes, I think is what they call them. EA.com/games/Madden-NFL/ oh gosh, Madden 23. It's like 19 /. Just search Madden 23 Gridiron Notes, and you're going to find these are the latest Gridiron Notes. So we're going to go through these one by one. I'd love to take any questions that you might have, but I think this is really, really exciting stuff. And it's starting out with one of the things I think people ask for the most, and that is for a revamped free agency. I will openly admit there's a part that we're going to talk about here tonight. I still do not fully understand. Even playing with it, I didn't understand it, didn't like it. I got to get the game back in hand and play with it some more. But free agency has completely changed. The UI, the user interface, just feels a whole lot cleaner. You can find what you need a whole lot better. You can actually see stats on players. It used to drive me insane to not be able to see stats. I still wish there was a comparison tool. So like if I pulled up a free agent player, if I wanted to compare their stats to the stats of the players on my team, I still wish there was a way to kind of do that a little bit easier. Right now, you got to kind of pull up Madden or Daddy Leagues or whatever kind of league UI that you use and compare your players to maybe some free agent pickups that you're looking at. But every player has some motivations is what they're calling them. So Super Bowl chase is one, historic championships, coach historic record, scheme fit, top of the depth chart, team has a franchise quarterback, mentor at the position, close to home, big market, tax-free state, warm weather state, highest offer. Those are the ones that are out right now. And I think what they said is that you're going to get more of these that are going to come out throughout the Madden cycle. So hopefully they don't give us too many updates, but hopefully we see a couple more of these. And I think it's a lot like the draft that we seen last year, a lot like a lot of the little things that we seen last year where it was just like step one, and then the following year you kind of get step two. They do it a little bit better. They kind of revamp the system. I think you're going to see a lot of that here in free agency, but now players are weighing these different options. So they have at least 3 of these motivators, and depending on which of the ones that you hit on and the contract offer, which is my favorite thing about all of the changes in the franchise mode, they're going to go ahead and give you a point system and let you know what they think and how they think about your offer. Here's where it gets a little bit funky that I don't think I quite understand. We can also talk about player tags real quick too. So player tags are also these things that players have. These are the tags that determine the kind of fit that they have on your team. And so depending on not only the desires that they have, the motivators that they have, but these tags that they have, those two things in conjunction determine how much they weigh your offer. And so compared to if you offer a low salary or a high salary, and it depends on their motivators, they may take a lower money to go somewhere else that hits more of their motivators or hits more of their tags. They may take lesser money to take yours because you hit more of their motivators and more of their tags, or it may just be a combination of both. I think it just adds some more elements into what's already there. This is where it gets a little funky for me, and that is this new contract negotiation screen. So here you can offer these 3 or these 4 different types of contracts, which I'm super excited about. That's the part I'm most excited about. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But then after you offer contracts, you can then run this like sort of advanced, again, I forget exactly what they call it, and I'm not seeing it here. I was going to see if they might show it. I don't think they do. There is a way to like test and see if players would take your offers, but it runs every bid for every player. And I'm not quite sure how that works. Is that just something the commissioner has controls over? If so, is that like, it's not 3 stages now, it's technically 9 stages because it's 3 within every 3 of the stages. 3 times 3 is 9. I'm not good at math, but I know at least to do that part. It's very confusing. Even the little bit that I got to play with, it was very confusing. I think one of the owners that was in the test franchise and tested the draft, I think it was Trey that tested with me that night, even said he didn't have the option to run the like test my contracts or whatever it was. So that hopefully is not something that everybody has access to, just something I have access to. And if so, we will not be using it. We will just be running the contracts at the end of the advance and just do all 3 of the advances. But here's the part that I'm most excited about, and that is this ability to have contracts. So they have 4 different contracts, technically 5. So they have team friendly, neutral, player friendly, very player friendly. And then there's also custom. So custom is just like they always have been. You can just pick whatever kind of contract that you want to contract. 1 year, 6 years bonus. It's like everything is completely customized there. The team friendly is already set, and I want to say that is just for a 1 year. And the neutral, I think, was a 2 to 3 year. Player friendly was a 4 or 5 year, and then very player friendly was a 5 to 6 year. And I think that is the direction we're going to end up going, is just to even contracts all the way across. We have some players here, they're just smart. They're smart dudes. They look at our rules, they look at what the game allows, they fiddle, they move things around, and they find the little ways to kind of save money or to get out of contracts really, really easy. And I think with these new contracts, we can now streamline it. And I think off the top of my head, we got to play with the game some more. Every player will be required to stream every contract that they sign. You sign a contract that you did not stream, we will then clear the contract and you will have to redo the contract, and you will have to pick team friendly, neutral, player friendly, or very player friendly. Very player friendly, which means that we will allow 6-year contracts. And we've never really done that before. At least we haven't in a very, very long time. But normally we hit that 5 to 6 seasons. If it's a good Madden, we hit 6 seasons. If it's a tough Madden, we hit 5 seasons. So I'm totally okay with allowing 6-year deals. Yeah, you might save a little bit money by the time we get to season 3 or 4, and we may have to kind of rethink some of that. But I still think overall it's going to make contracts way more manageable. Like, it's going to be something, your cap is going to have to be something that all of us have to manage, not just teams that have like a starting high cap number already. Then there's the rollover cap. NFL cap rules have changed, and so they're giving you the ability with low total salaries to spend more in the upcoming seasons. That one confuses me just a little bit, because I think that's always been there. Like, if I only had $20 million left over in the last season, when I start the new season, I had a little bit more because the cap increased. So I'm a little confused on exactly what rollover cap is. Maybe I'm not quite understanding it, but it seems like they've really thought about the cap. They've really thought about how numbers work and how they help franchises have to manage their cap, both good and bad. There's a franchise hub. Of course, they've streamlined the UI. They've given like these new symbols. It's just quicker to see things. It's quicker to see what you need to find. To me, it didn't feel super, super new. It felt like a little cleaned up. I think now that they're kind of pointing it out, when you get in there and you start to intentionally look for those little bits, you'll probably see some of those changes. But just on the surface, if you're not really paying a lot of attention, it's not going to feel super, super different than what you've seen in the past. Scouting has changed a little bit. Now, instead of scouting for certain players or certain position groups like left guard, right guard, now you get entire user groups. I think they actually list them here. Yeah, they do. So running backs is halfbacks and fullbacks. Offensive tackles are left and right tackles. Interior offensive linemen, guards, and centers. Defensive ends, outside linebackers, and safeties. Am I the only one missing defensive tackles? Where's defensive tackles? That's hilarious. I think they left out defensive tackles. I guess defensive tackles is just its own group. So defensive tackles will be its own group. Quarterbacks will be their own group. Wide receiver, their own group. I'd like to see them put wide receiver and tight end together. Maybe those are already tight end. I don't think they're together. And they added 50 new scouts. I don't know that they're going to make that much of a difference. It would be nice to see scouts not do a good job for you, maybe not give you all the proper grades, and then you have to fire and try to find better scouts. I don't think that's really going to be a thing. I think it's just a smoke and mirror. I don't love that kind of phrase, but it's just this idea of like, it is what it is. Like, it's just, it's a feel good. It makes you feel like there's something there that I don't know that makes all that much of a difference. There's 50 new scouts. So at least we have a ton new scouts. I'm wondering if they did the same thing for coaches, because coaches, assistant coaches, those also were really massive position groups that just didn't have a whole lot of players. They also are now giving us real numbers on positions that matter. Again, I kind of liked the randomness. I don't love that you may be able to, again, we have to play with this a little bit more, that you may be able to just walk into every draft knowing the really important things that you need to know. They say it all the time in draft class improvements. I do like what they're trying to get here. So they have general prospects. These are just like the general players, what we're probably used to. The 99 club prospects, I really like that. So you'll see a player that has a particular skill at 99. Maybe 99 feels a little high, but anyway, I like that. Maybe they're not like really good. They have all terrible accuracies, but they have 99 throwing power. So it's like this project quarterback that you might be able to build. High variance projects, a boom or bust projects, special projects. These are that are a little outside of the box, but you can maybe mold them. Maybe their archetype really fits with you. So it sounds really sexy on paper. We have to get our hands on it and play with it a little bit more. I will say, I think the biggest thing that we're going to have to figure out, number one, I think we're definitely going to go sim mode after playing it. Number two, if we go all pro sim mode, which there's going to be a great debate, all pro, all Madden. All Madden feels really, really tough. CPU almost unbeatable. We go all pro, kind of lowers that ceiling a little bit, puts everybody on a little bit more of a playing field. The issue is quarterbacks are just amazing. Like, I think we're going to have to get the quarterback. I think we had it down to 10, and still rookie quarterbacks were going like 11 for 12 or whatever. So that's my biggest worry, is whether we go all pro, all Madden, what do we do with the quarterback accuracies? Because it's really going to make a difference, especially with the new passing mechanic where you can really place the ball wherever that you want it. Draft and trade logic, it doesn't really fit us, except for if you miss the draft. But if you miss the draft, you should be setting your draft boards anyway. Awards tuning, also don't know if that really fits us all that much, but maybe it makes the game a whole lot more fun offline, and maybe we see maybe some more content around offline players. Dev trait, regression, and progression. Supposedly that they've kind of moved these around, but it's nice that offensive line are actually going to get some kind of in-game boost, and we won't have to do as much stuff on our end. Immediate trade offers, kind of neat, but doesn't really fit us since we're all brand new. So that's really all of the notes. The big stuff is going to be all the stuff around free agency, all the stuff around contracts, all the stuff around drafting, and kind of the new scouting mechanisms and kind of how they're letting you see scouts. And then possibly, depending on how it actually plays out, but these new draftees and kind of how they fit the new draft class improvements. This sounds really, really good on paper. I just don't know what the reality of that is actually going to look like. So I have to see. So that's going to bring us to the end of our show. Not really a whole lot more to talk about. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Which part of these improvements, which part of these news excites you the most out of all of it? Is there anything that you're particularly excited to get your hands on? If you played the beta, is there anything that you got your hands on that you're like, I don't know if that was in the beta or what they're saying on paper? Those two things don't match up. And hopefully we see a lot of the positive changes from the beta. I really hope they don't mess with the game all that much. I think the game's going to take some adjusting to and take some moments, but I do think it's a really good game for a lot of really good reasons and a lot of good stuff there, as long as they leave it alone. Pass rush is going to take some getting used to. The new passing mechanism is going to take some getting used to. We're going to have to play with it to figure out our kind of settings and sliders and all that fun stuff. But we'll get it figured out. We'll get it cleaned up. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Sorry that the internet has not been super duper nice. I've been playing with the camera and figuring out some new kind of settings, trying to get it extra crisp and get it extra good for you. And I think I'm also working on some improvements for my capture cards. I can't wait to get some new things out and do some new things for Madden 23. So we are also kicking off, I guess that's the last big thing, kicking off OMFL Media Days. So if you haven't signed up for OMFL Media Days, there's a thread started. I listed out all the dates that I can do over the next 2 weeks. Pick a date. I think there's like 10 dates, 12 dates, something crazy like that. So pick a date, pick a time, come sign up, come be a part of Media Days. It takes 5 to 7 minutes of your time. You send me a selfie or some kind of photo that I can use. You jump on your phone or computer with a microphone. Just make sure it's something that works. And you come and do a part of an interview with me. I interview 3 to 4 to 5 guys per show. And it's just a ton of fun. Guys really loved last year's OMFL Media Days. It was the first time that we had ever done it. So I'm super excited to do it again. Guys, I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I think I'm going to go play a little shooters before I call it a night. But it's been a good night. I'm pumped. I'm ready to do this, man. I'm ready to play some Madden. I'm ready to get out there and go 8-8. Or I can't go 8-8 anymore. Or 7-9. That would no. I was 7-10, 8-9, 8-9, something like that. Whatever it is. Go 500. That's probably what I'm going to go. All right, guys. I love you. We'll see you on the next one, okay? Peace. Yeah.
Smash that like and subscribe.